Hello, I am Arthur Broady. I am the sixth great-grandson of John Broady, also known as the Patriot. John Broady was a slave during the time of the American Revolution. He was the property owned by the Campbell family. The Campbell family, as far as I can tell, the records go back to when John was 4 or 5 years old. That's when he first shows up as being the property of the Campbells. Although there has been some who believe that John was the offspring of Charles Campbell, which would make him the half-brother of William Campbell. That's been a prevailing thought, a belief, which is very close to being debunked. I won't get into that this time, but many of you who know William Campbell and know John Broady, you know that there's the potential for the two of them to have been half-brothers. John lived with the Campbells all of his young life. He was there when Elizabeth Henry showed up as the wife of William Campbell. And so John, when William's father passed away, Charles Campbell passed away, John became the property of William Campbell. And William and Elizabeth were the owners of John. Of course, you know about the Battle of Kings Mountain. It's reported that Elizabeth, the wife of William Campbell, insisted on John making the trip. She says in a book that she wanted John to go for the sole purpose of protecting William, to look after him and to bring him back. We don't have any way of verifying whether that's in fact the case, but certainly John was on the trip to Kings Mountain. He was there during the battle, and he returned from Kings Mountain with William Campbell. A few years later, 2 or 3 years later, William Campbell passed away, and in his will, he stipulated that John was to be freed. And they gave the reasons for this freedom was because John had served him as his manservant during, he claims, during the battles that he participated in. We only have evidence that John was only on one trip, on one battle with William Campbell. There may have been others, and there's a reference to battles in the will, so it's more than one the way it's stipulated. But we don't have any evidence other than it's just the one. When William passed away, John's ownership became the property of his daughter Sarah. Sarah was married to Francis Preston, and it was Francis Preston who took the will to the courthouse, had it processed, and John was emancipated. He was emancipated on September 30th, 1793, approximately 11 or 12 years after William Campbell passed away. When John was emancipated, the Campbell family, or the Preston family, if you will, donated land to John, which John was given. It's near Saltville. It became known as Broady's Bottom, and it may be the location where John is buried today, along with several of his family members. That's the central story related to John, but there's many other little sub-stories, smaller stories, and many of you may be aware of the Shelby Campbell controversy. And this is the controversy that helped us learn a lot more about John Broady than we would have ever known. The story has to do with Shelby alleging that Campbell was a coward. This was in approximately 25 years or so after Campbell had passed away. Shelby was pursuing the governorship of Kentucky at the time, and this was just before the War of 1812, and he wanted to present himself as a strong military president or governor, if you will. Well, this created quite a controversy. How could you possibly accuse William Campbell of being a coward? By this time, William Campbell had had developed in quite a very famous military person. So the historians got involved in this controversy and found out that Campbell really was in the battle. It was John Broady sitting on Campbell's horse off in the distance. John not only had Campbell's horse, but John also had Campbell's military jacket. Campbell didn't wear his jacket during the battle because it would have been like putting a target on his back. Because the rest of the men essentially were militiamen, and they were not in uniform, a military uniform. But John was assigned to take care of the horse and take care of the jacket that belonged to William Campbell. That's what contributed to the confusion about Campbell sitting off in the distance on a horse. That controversy ended up being concluded that Campbell and John looked a lot alike, and that was the explanation for the confusion. There are many other little parts of stories related to John, but essentially those are the key parts of the story that most people are interested in. Thank you.